Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Indra Educational Academy. In continuous of Java concept, we are in the unit 3. So let us begin our class unit 3. So in unit 3 we discuss about inheritance and types of inheritance. So coming to the definition of the inheritance. Inheritance is a mechanism in which one class acquires the property of another class. For example, child inherits that traits of his or her parents. With inheritance we can reuse the fields and methods of executing class. Here in inheritance facilitates reusabilities. Here what this definitions means. Before going to define this definition, let's understand the term inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but it consists of two classes. One is superclass, another one is subclass. Superclass is also known as parent class, whereas subclass is also known as child class. So here the characteristics or properties or behaviors, whatever it is, if the characteristics or properties or behavior or carry from the superclass to subclass, then it comes under the inheritance. So due to this inheritance we can reuse the methods and fields in the programming. So the use of inheritance is, by using inheritance we can reuse the fields and methods of the existing class. Here exiting class is nothing but superclass. So by using this inheritance in subclasses also we use fields and methods, since the superclass is containing fields and methods. So this is the definition of inheritance and types of inheritance. There are varied types of inheritance in Java. So first kind is single inheritance. In single inheritance one class extends another class. Here single inheritance means it indicates only one subclass. If one superclass is there, so it indicates only one subclass only, no other class will be generated. When the simply the definition of the single inheritance is, when one superclass indicates one and only subclass, then it is known as single inheritance. It can't generate many classes, it generates only one class only. In terms of generates we can use the term extends also. In single inheritance superclass extends only one subclass is known as single inheritance. Here the it is the graphical representation of single inheritance. Class A indicates one and only subclass class B. So this is the single inheritance. And multi inheritance. Multi inheritance, in multi level inheritance or multi inheritance, one class can inherit it from derived class, hence the derived class becomes the base class for the new classes. Here see these graphical representations. First here class A, class B, class C, these three are comes under the class. But when we observe only class A and class B, class A is the superclass for the class B and class B is the subclass of the class A. When class B also generates the another subclass, class B becomes the superclass and class C becomes the subclass of the superclass. So once the subclass generates another subclass, then immediately that generated subclass becomes the superclass of that new class. Here it is the meaning of multi-level inheritance. And next one is hierarchical inheritance. In hierarchical inheritance, one class is inherited by many subclasses. That means one superclass can produce many, two or more classes can be produced by the one superclass. Here class A is the single superclass, whereas class B, class C, class D are three main subclasses. Here multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is nothing but one class extended more than one class. Java does not support multi inheritance. Here Java doesn't support multi inheritance is very important point to remember. And when we use interfaces, this point Java does not support multi inheritance is apply in that interface. So that's why remember this point, Java doesn't support multi inheritance. So now coming to the definition of multiple inheritance, one class extended more than one class. So here see, class A, class B combinedly introducing or generating or expanding one class, then it comes under the multiple inheritance. So here Java doesn't supports multiple inheritance. It is one of the type of inheritance, but coming to Java it doesn't support. So remember that. And hybrid inheritance is a combination of single and multiple inheritance. Here once check this diagram, here once check this graphical representation. Here this inheritance is a combination of single and multi, so both combination comes under the hybrid inheritance. So these are the syntaxes for the types of inheritance. And next another important one is super keyword. Super keyword is nothing but invoking a superclass version of an overridden method. The super keyword is used. According to theory, super keyword is a by-hearted thing. Why? Because super keyword, if you want to check the functions of super keyword, we must learn that thing to programming only. Why? Because super keyword is work on the programming only. By theory it's not explained. So once come to the definition of super keyword, invoking a superclass version of an overridden method. So here coming to the superclass, in programming we use classes. So in that classes also we have superclass and subclass. So whereas superclass is invoking by overridden method, it happened due to the super keyword only. Here the example for super keyword, and example is very important for super keyword. Super keyword question is important for BSc 4th sem students for the 5 marks questions, and this is the output of that super keyword program. Next one, abstract classes and methods. Very important topic. Abstract classes and methods. Data abstraction is the process of hiding certain details and showing essential information to the user. Here, abstraction is nothing but hiding certain details which are not particularly uses for the user, but it shows only essential functions only. Unnecessary functions or unimportant functions that doesn't display by the data abstraction. It shows only essential information which is required for the user, and this is the example for the abstraction class, and this is the output of that program. And next, Java array. Java array also very important So coming to Java array, so without the word Java, what do you mean by array? Array is nothing but a storage for the variables, or it allocates memory for the variables. Simply, if you want to define the term array is nothing but it allocates the memory or multiple values in a variable or for the variable. So here coming to Java array definition, arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. So here what its do function of array is, it stores multiple value in a single variable. That means if you use a x as a variable, then that x consists to many value up to infinity also it can be consisted in that variable. That function is known as arrays. So instead of declaring separate variables for each value, arrays are used in the Java. Advantages of that array and disadvantages of Java array: code optimization and random access. These are advantages, and whereas coming to disadvantages, size element. And types of arrays: single dimensional and multi-dimensional. So single dimensional means the array which contains only one row, either one row or one column, where elements are stored one after another. This is the syntax for one dimensional. And data type, what is the definition of data type is, data type indicates the type of the elements that are used in the array, and array name is the name of the array. It must be valid for identify. Size is nothing but, array size is nothing but number of elements that that can an that can one array can hold. So here are the examples for the Java array, and this is the exam, and this is the program for the Java array, and this is the output of that Java array program, and here passing array to a method in Java. So up to here we completed about Java arrays. That means definition and program and syntax, whatever it is. So now passing that array to a method in Java, that means passing a Java array to a method in a Java. That means Java method, to Java method we are passing Java error. So here we can pass the Java array to a method, so that we can reuse the same logic on an array. Here we can pass the Java array, that means Java array is be passed to a Java method, so that we can reuse. That means by this process, which process, passing array to a method in Java, we can reuse the same logic on any array. That means we can use the same function on any array. So this is the program of that one, that means example, and this is the output. And coming to multidimensional is nothing but, more rows and more columns are consisted by that array. That means more values will be included in that array. So here it is the syntax for multidimensional array, and this is the program of that multidimensional array. And next, and this is the output of that multidimensional array program. And next one is wrapper classes in Java. Wrapper classes in Java provides the mechanism to convert primitive into object and object into primitive. Here before going to learn the definition, what do you what do you mean by primitive? Primitive is nothing but, here primitive data means it consists, float, boolean, mm, that means float comes under decimal, whereas boolean, true or yes or no conditions, these all are comes under the primitive. So these types of data is converted into object and object into primitive. This process is known as wrapper classes, and example or program for that wrapper classes is here output of that program. And coming to strings in Java is also very important. Generally string is a sequence of character, but in Java string is an object that represent a sequence of characters. The java.lang.string class is used to create a string object. Here very three sentences are formed to define the string. Generally, that means without Java, the word itself, string, means a sequence of characters. That means characters are nothing but text. That means alphabets, character A, character B, character X, character Y. All this comes under the characters. Individual variables or individual alphabets is known as characters. But in terms of Java, string is an object that represents a sequence of characters. So here in Java, string represents that characters with the help of with the help of object. String is an object that represents a sequence of characters. That means in Java, string is nothing but an object. Which object? The object which represents a sequence of characters is known as string. The java.lang.string class is, if you want to use the string within the program, then we have to use java.lang.string in the programming. This is the example for that string, and this is the example of that one, and this is the string methods. Once check all these string methods. And next one is Java vector. Vector is like a dynamic array which can go or shrink in its size. Unlike array, we can store n number of elements in it as there is no size elements. So here vector is like array only. In array, what is the function of that array? Array stores the data. That means number of elements we can store in that array without any size element. That means array size is unlimited, whereas coming to vector, which can grow and or sinks its size. So according to data it grow in vector. According to data the size will grow or sinks. So this is the declaring of vectors and vector methods. These are the tabular forms of the vector methods, and this is the example of that vector methods. And the next topic is interface. Interface is a blueprint of a class. Here, before going to learn the interface, once remember the term inheritance. Inheritance depends on the two classes, superclass and subclass, whereas interface is totally different from that inheritance. But in some programs to generate multi inheritance in Java which does not support by Java, we use interface term. So here an interface in Java is a blueprint of class. So here interface is nothing but a class which consists static constants and abstract methods. So interface is nothing but it is a class, but that class must contain static contents and abstract methods. Why we use Java? That means this is a important short answer for BSc fourth sem students of the Andhra University. Why we use Java interface? Very important. These 3 points are important. And coming to syntax of that interface, and this is the graphical representation of interface. This is another example of that. And multiple inheritance by a Java inheritance. So once check multi inheritance in Java by interface. So Java doesn't support the multiple inheritance, but we have to overcome that. So by using interface we are overcoming that. If a class elements multi inheritance or an interface extends multi inheritance, it is known as multi inheritance. That means if a class extends or generates more classes, then it comes under the multi inheritance. This is example for that multi inheritance. So this is the entire topic of the unit 3. So before going to learn about this unit 3, once revise all the topics which are discussed in this unit 3. So firstly we completed the topic of inheritance in unit 3 and types of inheritance. And one more most important short answer is keyword. That means a super keyword. So with example also we completed that super keyword concept. And abstract classes and methods also very important. With example we completed. And Java arrays and working on Java is also completed. How we are working Java through methods. That means passing to a method in a Java. So how we are making the function of array in a Java is to a method. So by passing an array to a method, the Java arrays is working in the programming of Java. So here it is the example of that. So after the Java arrays we completed the topic of wrapper classes in Java with example. Very important topic. And strings is very important, and which comes under the 5 marks questions for the BSc fourth sem students. String methods, the tabular form of string methods. And Java vector is similar to the strings only. Sorry, Java vector is similar to the arrays only, where in array is no size limit, whereas in vectors the size of that element is go or sync according to the data. So here it is the declaring vectors and vector methods. Next, last topic is interfaces. Example of that interface. Next topic, interface and uses of interface with the syntax. Next one, example and inheritance. Multi-inheritance in Java by interface is also very important. From unit 3, we mostly covered short answers questions for BST 4th sem students of Andhra University only. So this is the entire topic of unit 3 of BSc 4th sem students of Andhra University. Thank you for watching. For more interesting and knowledgeable videos, subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Jai Hind.